Yo, what's going on, everyone? Bill here, Classic Rock and Metal Review. Time for what I'm calling a Franken-Episode. A little of everything. And, you know, should be kind of cool and fun and different for this channel, all right? A little bit of final best of 2024, some leftovers, all right? But some top 5, some top 10 lists. Most of them 2025 previews of what's to come and what you should be seeing anyway, if I get around to covering all this stuff. And you know me, I won't, but I'm going to make my best effort on that. A few of which will include some unboxings along the way. So that should be kind of cool. Also tell you about some improvements in store for the channel and real hodgepodge of stuff. It really is going to be kind of fun to do it. Hopefully, it's cool for you guys to watch it, all right? Looking forward to it, because no real theme for once, basically. All right, so without further ado, giveaway winners, all right? Finally, right? I hear you. But first, yet another delay. Now, I just need a drink. I haven't eaten yet today. 1:43 on the clock, afternoon. 2 cups of coffee. Some homemade iced tea and vodka. Let's see what this is like. Need some lemon. Need something. It's pretty good though. It's some real tea, not some junk. All right, man. Let's do it first. Winners for. Let's spin the spinner for the Journey DVD are. All right. It's Tokyo Second Night, 1980. All right. Nakano Sun Plaza, October 11th to be exact. I think we had 6 entries for this one. All right. So. All right, one spin only, guys. You know the deal. All the names go in the spinner. Look for your name right there. I only spin it once, and whoever wins, wins. Here we go. Who gets it? Daniel Cherry, you're the winner. Dude, I think you might have won something before. It's been a while, though, I think. Name looks familiar to me. I know who you are. I'm just messing. Hey, everyone gets an equal shot, all right? But Dan's ass has been here pretty much since Jump Street, so he's kind of like family here. So that's cool. Journey DVD coming your way. Next up, copy of Ozzy's Blizzard of Oz. This one, an early press. Japan for US early press. I already showed you this guy. You know what's up with this, right? Okay? Get rid of that phony 2011 version. Or keep it, actually, but listen to this one. Really sounds really damn good, okay? So let's spin the spinner again. I think we got 6 entries for this one. Again, 1 spin only, and whoever wins, wins. I don't really care who I mail it to. Find your name on that thing, and here we go. All right, and this dude, Fred Zepp 4K, fairly new to the channel as far as I can tell. Dude, Ozzy's coming your way. Keep your eyes out for more giveaways coming up. I got a small pile of stuff to do. All right. Dan and Fred, you guys are going to need to email the channel. Click on the channel's homepage. Okay. And I think there should still be the same deal as it's been for a while here. There's an about section. Just click on the word about. Takes you to the channel's sort of inner domain, I guess. I don't know. There's not much there, but there is an email address. All right. I only use it for the channel. If I don't get you right away, I will get to you soon enough. Give me a few days, and I'll just need your mailing address, all right? No one gets that address but me. It's a one-man company here, okay? I'm not selling anyone's info or any of that bullshit. All right, so there. At least that's out of the way finally. I hope you guys, like I said, everyone, just pay attention. I got other stuff to give. First up, let's wrap up 2024, all right? I ran through my best of 25 concert videos. They were ranked, all right? As you probably know, I usually talk about movies at the end of my video updates. So here are my favorite movies from 2024. I don't own any of them. They were all just streamed off TV. 20 total, 5 that I'd seen before, and 15 completely new to me, all right? These are not ranked, okay? But they all are very good, and I'll just note my 5 favorites along the way, all right? There are actually 12 older movies, let's call them, from 1974 to 2016, and 8 newer titles from either 2023 or 2024. All right, so simply we'll just go oldest to newest. All right, how's that sound? So This is one of my 5 favorites. And another lounge dweller rec, he recommended 3 things to me a few months back. I really dug this one. It's from 1974, Death Dream, also known as Dead of Night. And I think there's another title, The Night Andy Came Home. Directed by Bob Clark. Okay, we know who he is, right? Black Christmas and Ralphie. I saw a description for this movie online, calling the genres of this movie: horror, war, suspense, vampire, drama, thriller, mystery, slasher, indie. Exactly. It's all of those. It really is all of those. And it's a really I held my attention, man. I don't know. Some of you guys might not think this movie's any better than a lot of others. I just thought it had something about it. Was just eerily, I don't know, just so different and yet somewhat believable. I don't know. It was just a really cool movie. And I have to mention this. Everyone's got these couple of things that stick in their mind forever. I saw a horror movie on TV. People from Philly remember Creature Double Feature. All right. I think it was on channel 17, a local channel. And it was on Saturday afternoons they would play 2 horror movies, obviously. Now, there was something I saw where I could have swore it was a car full of teenagers. And in the back seat, one of their friends was turning into a werewolf. And a female cop came up to the window and she looked in the back seat. And the werewolf dude bit her, grabbed her, whatever. And the car drove off and plunked her against a telephone pole, just like a scene in Death Dream. Am I crazy, or was that a different movie, or was it, maybe I saw this movie? I'm not even sure, but I could have swore, like I said, it was a werewolf situation and a female cop, all right? But there's a very similar movie scene in this Death Dream. Anyway, if any of you can help me out, make sure I'm not crazy. But, all right, let's move along. So that's one of my 5 favorites. The others that I thought were awesome: Motel Hell from 80. I saw that back in 83, so it's been 40 years, all right. The Burning from 81 was really good. I don't think I'd ever seen that before. Sleepaway Camp, the original from 83, really good. Fright Night, I saw in the mid to late 80s on HBO. That was an awesome rewatch. Pretty damn good movie, great ending. Dario Argento's Demons from 85, that was new to me. That was really good. He's just a different type of filmmaker, and you either get it or you don't with him. From 86, this would have been my favorite rewatch, The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer. You know, I had HBO in 80, I think, all right? That was on there all the time in the mid to late 80s or whatever. That was a great one. I remember watching it multiple times back then, but another 35 years ago, you know. Prometheus from 2012, jumping ahead here, but these are in order, okay? I guess I didn't see anything good from the 90s or even the thousands, but from 2012, Prometheus from the Alien series, I really liked that one. Mad Max Fury Road, I watched it in 2016, I think. It's a 2015 movie, watched that again. Really kind of dug that, all right? Probably a lot more than I did the first time back 10 years ago. The Shallows with Blake Lively in 2016, that was really good. Terrifier from 2016. Really well done, low budget slasher horror, and really hits in seemingly every horror trick in the book. Terrifier. That was a really damn good one. Here's another one of my top 5 for the year. Aniara. It's a 2018 Swedish sci-fi terror, sort of terror of the human condition and isolation, what it'll do to you. That was an excellent movie. From 2023, believe it or not, a drama, okay? And perfectly timed watch for me, because I was watching it early December. The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti. Just a good drama, a little bit of comedy mixed in there. And it's basically, he's a college professor there with a handful of students who have nowhere to go on holiday break. So it's basically a Thanksgiving to Christmas or New Year's type of watch. And that's exactly when I just happened to watch it. I don't think I ever heard of this movie before. But that was really good if you're looking for a drama. All right. Society of the Snow, that Colombian soccer team, tale of survival. All right, from 2023, really good. Another one of my favorites, Nowhere. I think this might have been a Netflix only. John, struggle to survive on a shipping container of all places, floating at sea. I thought that was just really cool. And out of nowhere, I never heard of the movie. All right, one of my favorites also from 23, Zone of Interest. real low-key, disturbingly poignant take on the Holocaust from the vantage point of a Nazi commander whose house is just outside the walls of Auschwitz. So, whole different perspective there, but no less brutal, in its own sort of subdued way. Dune Part 2, I probably liked Part 1 better, but that was pretty good. Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. I'm just a big post-apocalyptic fan. I thought this was really good. Yeah, effects out the ass, but that's just how it is these days. Maxine, final of the 3 X series. Mia Goth. Pearl's probably my favorite of those 3, but Maxine was still a really good watch. And finally, from this year, from 2024 I should say, Alien Romulus. Not fantastic, more than held its own, held my interest I think for the 2 hours. And I actually saw Prometheus after this. That would have been nice if I seen them in the correct order, but nonetheless I really liked both of them. And actually I really liked all these movies. I thought they were all really good, Although maybe a year where nothing blew you away. And you could say that in a lot of areas actually. I don't think the bootleg market for CDs had many mind blowers really, but still a solid year there too. So there were 20 of my favorite movies from 2024. All right. So a music best of that I didn't get to for 2024 probably doesn't deserve a full-on episode anyway. So let's just run down my top 10 reacquired albums from the year. So stuff that I had in the past. Most of these things go back to when I initially was collecting in the 80s. So let's get to them. How about an honorable mention to U2's October? All right. I think this is from 80 or 81. Yeah, I always liked Boy more as far as those first 2 albums, but this one's actually a really good album too. So we'll just say number 11 is U2's October. Coming in at 10, Anthrax, Fistful of Metal. Not blown away by this one. I liked it a lot more when I was younger, but it was still cool to hear it again and now own it again. All right, some good classic New York thrash there. And right behind it, but only because I only played it once, I have to get back to this guy, is Show No Mercy from Slayer. I'm not even sure I finished it, Just, how it is, man. You got stuff hanging around and all of a sudden the floodgates open and there's more stuff to hear. But Slayer, Show No Mercy, I'll still put at number 9 because I liked what I heard. I just didn't hear it enough to really seriously weigh in, but that'll be coming up. And as will Anvil's Hard and Heavy. Here's another one that I had in the early 80s, Probably had it around 82, 83. So nice to have that back. And I did listen to this once not too long ago. Solid album. We'll see if it's Love You a Long Time worthy though or not. Creedence comes in at number 7, Willie and the Poor Boys. Always liked this album a lot. There's 2 or 3 beat hits on it, but I never really cared for those as much as the other songs on here anyway. So those other songs are just so damn good. All right, this goes back to 69, Willie and the Poor Boys from Creedence. Coming in at number 6, Earth, Wind and Fire, That's the Way of the World. Here's an album I had back in the day and didn't really care for too much. The 3-4 times I played it, just, I also had the best of volume 1, so I guess nothing was going to compare to that when you're sort of newly collecting music. But this album's really solid. Soundtrack to a movie that I've never seen a second of, so maybe I'll try to track that down for a watch. Coming in at 5 would be Twisted Sisters, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. Here's an album that back in the day when I listened to it, the 3 times I think I played it, every time I thought to myself, man, I got to play this more. And it would always be another year or so before I play it again. But man, it is great. 1982 with that one, I believe, or 83. And Neil Young from 79, Rust Never Sleeps. That'll come in at number 4 for me. What an awesome album. Forgot how great this one is. Almost like a greatest hits, really. I mean, there's only a couple songs on here that, aren't really well known. It is just a great one. All right. Not much more to say. Awesome. Coming in at 3, I was surprised because this is another one that I remember loving getting it, being a little underwhelmed, but Loverboys Keep It Up, I am down with, all right, from 1983, and did a whole episode on this not too long ago, as you guys probably know, so I really enjoyed that one. It's got a couple of songs that are a little over 80s, let's say, as far as the keyboard effects, but for the most part, does it for me. Now here's one a lot of you guys are going to be like, how's this not number one? Well, just because I had it up until maybe like 15 years. I don't even know. I think I lent it to somebody and never got it back. I just haven't heard it in forever. But the Beatles' White Album. My buddy Rick got this for my like 20th birthday, all right? And I had it for a while, you know, I don't know, a decade or so. I don't even know. But I lent it out, never got it back. I just got it back this past year. It's awesome. I don't need to talk too much about this, all right? And man, I just forgot how great it was, really, I guess. Now coming in at number one, only because I played this thing like 7 or 8 times. And I just love it. I think it's a metal classic. Savage's Power of the Night from 1985. I did a whole episode on this one. I just think it's one of the best metal albums ever made, hands down. It would be in my top 10 metal albums ever made. All right, I just dig it. I don't know. A lot of people don't seem on board with that album. I'm surprised. That'll conclude the 2024 material. Let's start moving ahead into stuff you can expect in the new year, all right? Improvements, new stuff. And that'll lead us into some more top 5s and some top 10 lists and a few unboxings also, all right? First, some improvements that lie ahead for the channel. Me drinking a little more, maybe. Looking to up the game with the video quality. Actually, I already started the last few episodes, okay? I used to, sometimes if things were longer, just go for lesser quality. Everything's going to be 4K moving forward, if at all possible. And like I said, the last few episodes have been that way, okay? And I think we all enjoy the pics and stuff I throw up there. It's some heavy-handed editing, all right? Which it's kind of part of why I recommend a beverage of choice before we get started. I kind of like that this show is one you really kind of watch, all right? Because let's face it, you know, a lot of other channels, they don't do any of that stuff. And good for them. I don't really care what other people do. I just do what I like to do. So this way you can actually listen and watch, I feel like, you know, because a lot of those other channels, I watch them too. I don't really watch them. There's nothing to watch. Just walk around with my phone in my pocket doing stuff, listening, you know. So this one, I like that this format is more like a pull up a drink and watch kind of thing. All right, try to make it interesting that way. But all that stuff takes up some space. I do everything on my phone. So if I need to, I will go get a new phone, a more modern phone that'll have a lot more capability, all right? Because sometimes I have to reduce from 4K to get these longer episodes out there, all right? But if there are any issues, I'll just get a new phone and that'll be that. The other thing too is the pictures I put up. Sometimes I get lazy and I just grab stuff off the internet. The quality's not great. No more of that. If at all possible, I'll take my own pictures like I do for a lot of these things anyway. And I'm not going to settle for grabbing stuff off the internet. Unless it's just a basic picture of something. All right, but from now on to make sure that the photo quality is really up there. All right, moving forward, you know, that's the plan. Unfortunately, watching the channel also means staring at this mug, all right, and associated situation here. So I'll do my best to try to keep things symmetric, I guess, right? All right, some of it's the lighting in here, all right? It makes things look strange, but I guess it's not just the lighting when it comes to that, but you know what I'm saying. All right, sadly, 2024 was by far the worst year ever for this situation, all right? I seemed to lose 3 times the hair that I lost the year before. If hair restoration costs in the thousands, all right, I'm choosing baldness over giving up my music budget. I'm sorry. So nothing I can do about that. No improvements to come there. All right, one definite improvement in addition to the channel, I think I already told you, got a surround sound system for Christmas. So I just got it hooked up a few days ago. All right, Dolby Atmos, DTS 5.1 capable. All right, so it'll actually pay immediate dividends, all right, because the next review that I got lined up is for Thin Lizzy's 76 box set. It's fantastic, all right? And, you know, I was going to just do this review without talking about the last disc 6, all right? And now I can weigh in on it, all right? So that's really cool. It's been fun the last few days, watching things and listening to things on that surround sound system, all right? Not to mention there's about 15 other Blu-ray and DVD audios that I have from other box sets and things that I never really even listened to. You know, what was the point with that surround sound hookup? So that'll be coming in, I guess, trickling through eventually, right? So I've been catching up on some individual reviews, all right? So like that 76, and then I'll probably fold that Anno Domini review in with the next Black Sabbath update, okay? So, all right, enough general channel stuff. Let's talk some specific music acquisition goals for 2025, and let's unbox some stuff along the way. So here's the top 10 targeted CDs on my list to try to get this year. I've got a list of about 40 or 50, all right? 5 of them will be completely new to me. 5 would be stuff that I want back from back in the day, all right? These are not like cheap things. They generally go for at least 15 bucks, 20, and on up. The sky's the limit with some of these. And what I mean by targeted is I want the best possible version I can get, not just a version, all right? All right, so top 5 CDs on my want list that would be new to me. From 1974, the Scorpions, Fly to the Rainbow, Uli Jon Roth's first album with the band. Really in a mood to hear more of him. That would be the last album I would need from him, I think. Although he's not on Love Drive, right? So, yeah. At number 4, Patrick Simmons' Arcade from 1983. I'm a big Doobies fan, and I listened to this on YouTube a couple months back in work, and was really kind of surprised by how Doobie-ish a good amount of this album sounded. And what I mean by that is that he had one of the songs on the Farewell Live album, Olana, I think it's called. It's a pretty hard rocker, and that's what I was expecting this album to be. 1983, sort of straight up hard rock like that song is, but it's really kind of more like the late 70s, early 80s Doobies. So if you kind of think that Michael McDonald wrote all that material, it was really, Pat had quite a hand in that too. And this album kind of shows it. There's at least 3 or 4 songs on there that sound like they could have been on like one step closer, let's say. So that was kind of surprising. I want to find myself a good version of that one. From 1980 at number 3, Diamond Head, Lightning to the Nations. I've never even heard this record. I know there's multiple versions out there, so you guys can let me know. I just want an original copy. You know, I think they redid the whole album recently. I don't want that fake version. All right, I want the real original. And I think there's multiple versions of the real original, is what I'm saying. So that would be number 3. At number 2, Thin Lizzy's Renegade. I love Thin Lizzy, man. They're like my latest band that I got into that's among my favorites. Probably about 15 years ago I got into Lizzy, so kind of late in the game. You know, I was almost 40 at the time, and man, I just love them. So I still need a few more albums, the first 2 and Renegade. So also some other bands I want to try to get, maybe some Pelletieri, Moxie, and Quartz. They're on my list. But number 1 for new to me would be Ace Frehley's solo album. Love Kiss, and I've never owned any of the solo albums except for Peter Criss's. Back when I was 8 years old, I got that on vinyl for Christmas. What a letdown. I think it permanently, or at least temporarily, prevented me from collecting music, because I thought that was going to be awesome, and I didn't think it was good at all. And next thing I know, I'm like, you know, I think collecting music's overrated. Peter Criss's solo album, which probably isn't even all that bad if I listen to it now, but when you're 8, you know, not happening, all right? But Ace Frehley's solo album I listened to once or twice and really like it, but only heard it probably once, then I think about it, unless I heard it back in the day. I might have too. So anyway, that would be my favorite one to get for the first time. Now, 5 more CDs that I want to reacquire. I either had these on vinyl or cassette eons ago. From 1971, Pink Floyd's Relics. That album, it's a compilation, material from 67 to 69 that helped me get into Floyd when I was 16 or 17 years old. All right, I know there was an edition that came out on CD in 96. I think it's the same track list as the original cassette I used to have. Coolest cassette with that crazy carved face on the front. But I just want to get it back. I know I have all the albums pretty much, but that would just be fun to get back. From 1983, Fastway's debut, self-titled Fastway album. Had that brand new, right from Jump Street. I can say that nothing else on that album was really as good as Say What You Will, but overall it was a good solid album. Fast Eddie Clarke. Speaking of which, at number 3, Motorhead from '82, Iron Fist. All right, I had that album back in the day. I've got everything else back, some of the deluxe editions, but I actually ran into this in the '90s. It's used, it's a little beat up, but I got all the other Eddie Clark albums back. One fell swoop with this one. Kind of a cool collection, right? Who does this? Roadrunner Revisited. Right, so you get the first album, Overkill, Bomber, Ace of Spades, and then No Sleep Till Hammersmith. Stops there, so there's no Iron Fist on here. So I just never got Iron Fist back, man. I don't know how many dozen times that thing's been in my various carts. All right, but it just eludes me, you know. I know there's a deluxe edition or two of it out there, so I'm wondering if it's one of those deluxe editions where the various versions of the deluxe version have different material on that disc too. I think that's the case, okay? Because I have like 2 different Bombers, 2 different Overkills. So anyway, that would be number 3, getting Iron Fist back, all right? Number 2 would be Anvil's Metal on Metal. Got Hard and Heavy this past year. It's really good. Metal on Metal was always the better of the two. So I'm trying to find me a CD of that in a jewel case, all right? I know there's, you know, Digipack version out there. I don't want Digipacks. Find me a Metal on Metal this year. And finally, number 1, I had this in my cart and it got swiped before I had a chance to buy it. So now I'm on the hunt for Testaments, The New Order. An album I owned, okay? The only album by them I ever owned. And it was, I kind of loved that album, you know? Now, I started getting out of metal by '87. So I'm kind of surprised. This is from 1988, which, you know, I guess I was into metal a little longer than I've been saying all along, really. So, because I remember I did have Saxon's Destiny, and this one, I used to really like this album a lot. So this would be number 1 on my CDs I want to reacquire in 2025. Testaments, The New Order. All right, so what do I mean by getting not just any version, get the best version? Let's unbox one, for example. One that I got back in summer, this past summer, all right? So I'm working on trying to make my own version of Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach, all right? This album just always bothered me because it's a mix of new songs and live recordings. So I came up with the formula that works for me, I think. But it starts with getting, even though this is probably a bad example because I do already have this album, but I'll show you what I mean about going after the best things you can get. So there's a regular CD. All right, a lot of us have this, whether it's Capricorn Classics remaster or probably just a Classics, actually. I think it's a remaster. Or you make your own version out of some other material from the way. We'll get to that eventually, right, someday. But went out of my way and paid some bucks for this version that I found on Steve Hoffman Forum talking about. All right, it's off Discogs, but came all the way from Japan. A lot of times you go on Steve Hoffman Forum and you're asking what's the best version or looking, find your conversation, even if it's from years ago or whatever. And it'll be debatable about what's the best sounding version of an album on CD, okay? Or even vinyl for that matter. In this case, this was pretty much agreed upon by several people that this was the best version of this album. And this one I do got to cut open in front of you guys. And yeah, it's loud. It's packaged really well. I think if I remember right, this dude's shipping was ridiculous. So I actually saved a few bucks by telling him don't send a jewel case. That's ridiculous, though, honestly. Like, paid $60 some for this damn disc. All right, so let's check it out. Anyway, the best version of Eat a Peach being a 2 CD version from Japan, early press or what have you. So that's what I got. So let's check it out, man. It's sitting in a closet since July. Hey, man, we've been talking backlogs, all right? This is a whole backlog episode, basically. And, oh, cool, he did send it in the jewel case. I thought I opted for that slightly cheaper version, which was stupid to do in the first place, but it's in a double pack. That's really cool. I never saw this album like that. All right. I don't even remember that from the photos of buying this one. I just specifically targeted this, you know, catalog number, and it came up like this. And here's what we got, man. Check that out. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Let's look at the back of this bad boy. Oh yeah, this was the only version I could find, by the way. There was nothing on eBay, and just this one copy on Discogs. All right. Oh, that's so cool. I just love Fat Boy cases, man. I'm a nostalgic dude when it comes to certain stuff. Early presses, check. And all right, that's kind of cool. Got disc 1 there, your old Polydor John. I like the Japanese writing right under the Eat a Peach. You get the Japanese text there. That's awesome. Yes, that's killer. Nice clean disc, man. Not a scuff or nothing on that, John. What do we got here? Your Japanese lyric book, probably. It's in black and white. We'll fiddle with that a little later. Yeah, it appears to be a case here. Let's check that out a little bit. If I'm boring you, then skip ahead. Not just passing right by this gem. Because this is an album that always kind of bothered me. I had it on cassette back in the day, and I was always like, what the hell am I listening to? There's some new songs here, and live versions of stuff I already have from the first couple of albums. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around what the hell I was like, what this album was about. So, you know, basically that's what it is. 3 songs that were new on the front, 3 live songs, and then 3 more new songs. So I want to put together a version where I take some outtakes from Idle Wild South and combine them and throw them in there where the live stuff is to make a nice 8-song, you know, version of Eat a Peach that doesn't have any live material. That was my mission, but it starts with getting the best version of Eat a Peach. So there's disc 2, and that's really cool. Now I want to hear the whole damn thing, live songs and all. Yes, for the win. Japanese early press, and for whatever reason, Nick, sometimes you get some options on that Steve Hoffman forum, you know. Go for this one or that one. This was the one that kept coming up, and if I remember right, the description was that other CDs sound like really well recorded in the studio album version of the album. This version sounds like they're playing in the room with you. Give me that one. All right. All right, that's all I needed to hear. But multiple people wrote the same thing. Feels like they're playing right there. All right, so there you go. That's why I shelled out $65 for this guy. That's just killer. So that's what I mean by targeting CDs, not just getting them, getting the best versions. There's a nice example. So how about a top 5 unwatched DVDs I have laying around? All right, this is kind of cool. Let's go with number 5. Some more Van Halen, Diver Down Brazil. All right, we got Us Festival. I got Largo. They both have sound problems during the show to where Dave has to sit up there and kill time, you know, bullshit. And, you know, kind of just ruins the flow of the show in a way on both of those shows. I'm hoping it won't be this way with Diver Down Brazil. It's a Pro Shot show from early 83. 107 minutes, so I don't know if it's the full concert or just what got recorded or what have you. I also have Caracas to look at also, but those short shows are even shorter than this one. So number 5 will be VH. At number 4, some more Almonds, Live at Great Woods. I had this VHS back in the day. I picked this DVD up like a year and a half ago. Still haven't watched it. I don't think it's out on Blu-ray, so go with this one then. This is the version where they removed all the stupid interviews that were laid over the top of the songs. The version I got is transferred from VHS, where there were no interviews. So I actually have a burned copy from my video that when they first put this out, I think on DVD, they put the interviews in there, removed later on. So that's what this version is. That's number 4. Number 3, some New Sabbath from 2005. Picked this up a few months back, haven't heard it yet. Download Festival. All right, the last tour with Mr. Ward on the Skins. So that's on my list. High on the list. Here's one I got a while back. CSNY, Wembley 74. I think it's a DVD-R, but it's the complete show because there's a few versions out there, and I don't want anything less than the whole concert, all right, CD or otherwise. So 2 discs. You know it's a long show. I have this one burned from a trade, and that looks really good. So this might not look any better, but of course I'm getting the nice packaging and all that jazz. All right, and it's a 190-minute show. Solo stuff and band stuff. Great one. I think the band, and maybe Joan Baez also played at that show. And then my favorite, number one I want to see is some Santana Hammersmith 76. Another one that I have a burned copy of that looks pretty damn good from 10 or 15 years ago. So another upgrade in the packaging. And I really just recently got into, I guess last year, Moonflower, the 77M. Some of the songs are on here even though we're December of 76. That's an awesome record, by the way. Moonflower from Santana. So this should be great to watch again. I haven't watched it in a couple years, so that'll be cool. So there's my top 5 unwatched videos, all right? Should hopefully be seeing me at least mention them, if not do all-out reviews. I usually just save the all-out reviews for things that really deserve it, but at least mention them. Top 5 unheard bootlegs. Let's blow through them. Now, obviously, these go without saying. The VH Worcester 82 First Night, okay? Haven't had a chance. I'm busy. I'm a busy dude, all right? You guys know I got that pretty recently. And that, along with Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love Deluxe Edition, which I did get a listen to this, and it sounds great. This is a really damn good one. I have to do a side-by-side with that box set version of the Leather Records debut. But this sounds awesome. I wasn't expecting the main disc to sound incredible or possibly better than the official, but I think it does. All right, so my top 5 besides those. Number 5 would be Alcatraz Live Games. This is a show from the Agora Ballroom, Cleveland, 1984. Original lineup, I think. And I think I heard a little of this on YouTube. Check it out before I bought it. But it was only $10, believe it or not. So snap that guy up. And Bonnet's voice is a little rough. Not sure what was up with that, but the rest of the show sounds so good. I couldn't pass it up for $10. I really want to hear some Alcatraz right now. All right. Lizzie, Tokyo, 1982 night. Chinatown tour. I have the Legends box set, which has like about half of this show as one of the discs. Here's the whole thing. It's soundboard. It doesn't sound awesome from what little bit I heard about this, but I do want to check it out anyway because I love this era of the band, you know, of course. How about some Fleetwood Mac that I got like a year ago and haven't got back to? I got another show from this tour, 74. This one's Ultrasonic Studios. I talked about the other one and it's really good. So this one's only from like a few weeks before or after the late end of the Bob Welch era, 74, which I love that era. So that'll be cool. That's number 3. Coming in at number 2, some Twisted Sister, the Can't Stop Rock and Roll Tour, Monsters of Rock, 1983, Donington Festival. It's an FM broadcast. It's a CDR. It's the only way for me to get it, so I took it. And I think it's only an hour, maybe less. But I'll be into that one for sure. These are the top 5 bootlegs I'm looking forward to. And coming in at number 1, yeah, because I've been neglecting them. Someone called me on it, and it's kind of true. It's been in the back of my head anyway. So let's start getting to some of this stuff. This one's been up there at least a year. Zeppelin, Fort Worth, Texas, 73. The Butter Queen, Moonchild version, but you know, they're kind of a budget label. But hey, it's a soundboard disc. And I'm up for getting something, you know, a better quality version of it if it's out there. It's just that a lot of the Zeppelin stuff, man, they don't make it clear that you're buying soundboards. And the reason I bring that up is a lot of these shows that are out there on soundboard, they're out there on audience too, and I just want to make sure I'm buying what I want, which is only really soundboards, all right? So there, top 5 bootlegs I want to get into this year. Let's get into top 5 unheard bootlegs, unheard box sets. All right, they're all sealed. Some of them go back, I think, maybe to 2021, definitely 22. It's ridiculous. I know. I obviously have a problem. All right, as evidenced by the fact that this list of top 5 doesn't include one that's on bootleg and doesn't include one that I'm going to unbox in a minute at the end here. What the hell? Let's make it a 6-pack, right? And the bootleg box makes it 7. So let's do the commercial stuff first. Some of this stuff you've seen back there. All right, it's been there forever. It's Sabbath. It's Sabotage. When the hell am I going to get to it? Who knows? There's nothing new in here for me to listen to. I have everything that's in there, so that's part of the stall for that guy. But eventually, get to it. And number 4, not too long ago, I picked this up. Skinner's box set, whole disc of rarities, disc 1, and then a few spread out among the other discs, best I can tell. So I was lucky to come across this one a couple months ago for $20. That's pretty awesome. I would have probably paid $20 for it open, you know. So this one is insane. All right, really. What's happened to the price on this one? I just don't have the time to listen to it. I mean, who does? Chicago, Carnegie Hall, complete, 16 CDs. All 8 shows they did on this Carnegie run from 71. A week long of shows. 8 shows and 2 CDs per show. I grabbed this right away. Just because I wanted it, all right? Because I love Chicago, and this album, you know, this is the definitive live album as far as I'm concerned, because it just encompasses their first 3 albums that are all masterpieces. Now, some people think it's a little sterile. The band's not high on it themselves. I think it's bullshit. I think it sounds awesome, all right? But guys, this one's going through the roof. I didn't look into this until, you know, 2 days ago, just to see. It's sold out. I know it's sold out, but it took like 6 or 8 months to sell out. It's not like it's sold out the day it came out. It's sold out for the past year, I guess, or whatever. Not even. And people are asking $600 or $800 for that and more. All right, it's nuts. Just to quickly comment on that, it seems to be the new thinking with these bands and products in general is, let's just make less. Let's make less, make limited runs and charge more, and then we're done. We're not going to keep it in press or in stock or whatever for years anymore. So, you know, it's just how it's going. If you want something, grab it. You know, that's the end of that story. But just to show you how big of a fan I am of that album, I got the 4-disc version from Rhino. This was a lucky find. This fetches some money on eBay and stuff. I found it at a record store for $20. You get the original live album and the bonus disc of all songs that aren't on the original 3-record set, or 3-disc set in this case, except for one other version of 25 to 6 to 4. So you pretty much get everything they played that whole week, I think, in this pack. But what's really cool is they put all those huge posters and programs and things that came in the vinyl, miniature versions here in the CD, which is really sweet. And they did the same thing for that 16 CD set. It's set up the same way. I watched an unboxing by, is it Lee Lockeen, the trumpet player. He has a nice unboxing video for that set. Talks all about that. And of course, anyone in their right mind has a copy of the vinyl set too. These are so easy to get, man. I mean, I don't know about nowadays, but 20 years ago, you could find these at a flea market for 10, 15, or $5 sometimes. I had 2 or 3 of these at one point. I just pulled the best posters out of each one, best vinyl out of each one, and made one big copy. But there's a massive poster in here that's about, it must be 5 by 8 feet. It's crazy. And another poster, and then a program, or, you know, whatever. Pretty cool stuff. So that's number 3, Chicago. All right, the stuff's knocking stuff down here. Let me just put it over here. Coming in at number, where am I? Number 2, Jethro Tull's Aqualung. All right, here's one that was out of print for almost 10 years. It came back a year or 2 ago. I grabbed it. You get the Steven Wilson remix of the album, surround sound versions of the album on DVD, flat transfer version and quad mix on DVD too. This should be really fun to listen to, because this is the only Tull album I ever had. And I had it back in the day, in the 80s, so I still have that CD. But this will be awesome to listen to, especially now that I have that surround sound. Now, guys, this was something that went out of print, again, recently. Right now, we're in that sweet spot, okay, that lasts for a few weeks, where Amazon's out of it, but some sellers don't know that yet, and they still have it for $30 or $40. If you're interested, go grab it now, because there are already some sellers who are realizing it's out of print again, and it's $100 again, like it was going back 3 years ago, and the prior 7 or 8 years before that. All right. Number 1, Unheard box set. I mean, you can put these in any order, really. But The Doors, Soft Parade. This is the 50th anniversary, 3 CD, 1 vinyl album. All right, limited edition. Another one that's out of print, and this one's fetching a couple $100. Back when I got it, this was $40. You know, it's just nuts. It really is. But my favorite Doors album. So how did I go 2 years without listening to it? I don't know. Have I gone any time not listening to any of this stuff? Who knows? Except I do remember a few months ago wanting to hear this album really bad, and just I didn't have the time to like peel it open and look at it. So I just grabbed the CD off the shelf and throw it on. You know, it's really just. I mean, what can I say? I can't wait to get all into it. But this is like something where you just sit on the couch and check it out for a few hours. You know, and all I had time that day was to just chuck it on. So the Doors Soft Parade 50th anniversary coming in as my favorite to look forward to this year. Man, I got to get to some stuff. All right. So to not leave out the bootlegs, I got one. I guess you can call it a box set, right? 4 CDs. It's Pink Floyd high resolution remasters for the Wall Tour. Is there anybody out there or in there? They actually call it the Wall Live 1980. 2 shows, 4 CDs total. Earl's Court from August 6th, 1980. And both of these shows soundboard. The other one is from earlier. So we got Uniondale, New York, February 28th, 1980. Now, I think that video I've been telling you about recently that I thought was one of my favorites of the year, I think that's from the 27th, right? Unless it's dated wrong. So hopefully this is at least a different show, even though there would only be one night apart. So this looks cool. I'm in the mood for some live Wall audio. Get to this one next, all right? That official live album's pretty good though, too. Been a few years since I heard that. So to not leave the bootlegs out. There's a box set, I guess you could say, that I've left out. So let's get to one final unboxing. That'll be the end of this super long, crazy episode. When this came out, I was kind of like, you know, all right, passing interest. Not really even all that interested, honestly. And at $100, definitely not mandatory for me, okay? A remastered CD, live CD, all right? And then more live stuff. Really only one disc I would be super interested in the first place. That would be disc 2, which has some demos and outtakes and stuff, all right? And of course, when this came out, I had no surround sound system. So disc 5, Blu-ray. So let's chomp into something, just like I was telling you, Super Deluxe Edition. I got this alert 2 weeks ago on some price drop box sets. So sign up for SDE.com. Get these price drop alerts sometimes. Although, like I said, they're not as frequent as they used to be. But did get one for this guy. It went from 100 to 49. Sign me up for 49. All right, that's how I roll. Certain things. Let's hope it's in here since it's supposed to be, and I haven't checked, obviously. So, all right, I got something else in this box, not to do with music. That's there. This one goes there. I wasn't expecting to have to chomp even further, but that looks like the case here. And, all right, let's just tearage here. And what do we have? Guys, it's no High and Dry, but it is Pyromania, all right? I have to tell you, this is just one of those sort of seminal albums in my teen years, basically. All right, when this came out, I think I just turned 13. I was super into getting into all that stuff. Zeppelin, Aerosmith, ZZ Top, Priest, all right? But here came along an album that it was like our generation, right? I mean, it was brand new. And man, I just loved the hell out of this. So all of a sudden, I'm re-looking at this thing. Other than the Seattle bootleg that I got a few years ago, I really don't have any bootleg stuff from them. Now, they really took care of us with that other box set, the early years, all right? But of course, that didn't encompass Pyromania. I was kind of expecting, because of that box, that this was going to be a Pyromania and Hysteria box, you know, which would be less appealing to me. So all of a sudden, I'm kind of like, you know what? It's a remastered version of Pyromania. What do I have from Pyromania? I mean, I picked the album up 3 or 4 years ago and listened to it like once. And then a couple years ago when I got the Seattle concert. Okay, that also comes with a remastered version, or I'm sorry, the Mobile Fidelity version of Pyromania. So I kind of gave it a listen. All right, transfer from the 24 karat gold version of Pyro. And I really didn't think it sounded any different than the regular album, to be honest. So I haven't heard this album in a couple years. So like I was saying, disc 1's remastered. And I'll tell you, that 76 box set from Thin Lizzy, those remastered jobs on that album are off the hook, man. So maybe this one's going to be killer too, all right? Disc 2, like I said, all those demos and such. Disc 3, live in Dortmund. Now, it's only a single CD, all right? But man, that concert kicks ass. In preparation for this thing coming, I watched the Leopard portion of this Dortmund Heavy Metal Festival. I told you back when I first watched this a year or two ago that Def Leppard was maybe the best performance on here. There was someone else that was awesome too, but I can't remember who it was. Priest maybe, I'm not even sure. But Def Leppard, I watched this Leopard segment again, all right? They're really kicking ass here. I mean, this is seriously one of the best shows. It really is. It's only a half hour. But man, Leopard's on fire. Joe Elliott sounds like a man possessed singing. He's like doing in as many cases as he can, singing both the backgrounds and the leads. And it's pretty damn impressive, man. So that's what you get on CD 3 in this box set, is the Dortmund show on disc. Not to be dismissed. Now, do you need a 32-minute show on one CD? Probably not, but it really is kick-ass. And then you get that Live in LA that I know came out in the Pyromania Deluxe Edition years ago. Which, you know, the thing is, I almost picked that up a bunch of times. That's going to run you $20-25. So I really kind of justified spending $49 on this box, looking at all you get. So this should be a fun one. You know, when you're already backed up with a half dozen box sets to listen to, what better thing to do than buy another one, right? All right, so join that SDE.com, SDE.com, guys. Get on their mailing list, because like we were talking about earlier, man, what's going on anymore is this is another Anno Domini situation where, you know, the price drops and then a few days later it's sold out. That's what happened again with this guy. So I don't know what's going on. I thought the law of supply and demand was when things are running low, the prices go up. It's almost like they want them out of there, you know, like the 6 months are up, get them out of the damn place, because the lowest price for the Black Sabbath box set was a week or two before it sold out. Same thing here. It's a little bit of a crazy trend, but I'll tell you, that's one thing, another reason to sign up for those alerts from SDE.com. All right, guys, final word. Sincere thanks to the gang. I look at this as like a living room, man. We're all just huddled around and checking shit out. There was a sports channel in Philadelphia years ago, WIP, and now it's 94 FM. Back when it was AM, there was a dude, one of the hosts used to call it his living room. You know, I forget his name, man, but he was a coach from Temple or something. But anyway, that's kind of how I look at it. And maybe down the road we can think about doing a Zoom with some of you guys. Sort of meet the gang episode, all right? I don't know what to say. If you guys are interested, let me know. Maybe try to put that together later in the year. Also, a shirt is coming. Guys, I know this was a long, crazy episode, but that's kind of what I had in mind. So I'll catch you all later. Everyone, cheers, and catch you next time.